Alrighty, chat room. We're back with more Great Ace Attorney. Yeah, part 2 of the trial. Let's go. Okay. Oh, there you are, Otto. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Gina. Sure about what you said in there? That the boss, you know, actually died the day before? It's pretty odd to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I. Possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. But I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes. It's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation. Or perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Oh dear. If it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on. And Dr. Scythe. I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zeeks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the red-headed lead. So perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the receipt of a weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean. That's right, Suze. And it was me what took him in. Thanks to a tip-off by a good, law-abiding citizen. Indeed. Yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the red-headed lead yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth-hunting interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Don't die with the same brush as you, Sholmes! Yes, well, then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zeeks for some reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zeeks, and Kazuma. I fear as though he knew we'd arrive at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Kazuma was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Mr. Sato? Yes. Hi. In the name of Her Majesty decree, the hereby declare this court to be in session again. I resume the closed court hearing of Baroque Van Zeeks. Here present, who stand accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Sugi. My lord? Have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the two members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison with police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men into the courtroom. Spaghetti? These two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am... Oh, right, they're Italian. I am Fabien de Rousseau, a descendant of the great de Rousseau family from Nice in France. Wait, French and Italian, right? Okay. And my name is Peppino de Rossi. I eat the spaghetti. I am the third son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. Sure you can. The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. Those who graduate from Temsic are the future leaders of Europe. Temsic? Ghost Trick? Ghost Trick? Pig Fiction mentioned? Huh? Wait, where did it go? I had Ghost Trick in here somewhere. Where is my copy of Ghost Trick? Oh, there it is. Shoutouts to Peak Fiction. Anyway. But do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alors, I'm making my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little grey cells of my brain. That is all I am trying to do, huh? So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out? Oui, you could say that. Not bad, eh? He has the grand ideas, but the petty plans. The strange combination is a Shoryuken, the charm of the hilarious brothers. And that's a Street Fighter reference. Si, capo. Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you. Go back to your pizza tower. Number 1, Peppino. Che? Are you about to tell me one of your grand anecdotes? Eviva! Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Show you can! Che bello, there it is, the capo trump card, the furrowed brow. It is deep, huh, capo? The furrow and the meaning of your words. Man, my voice is getting workout today. The Red-Headed League. You're concerned to send the money about the members of the public. This is true. Oui. I don't actually know that much French. Whatever. And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which identity fraud? Alors, I will explain it. Sure you can. No, capo. Leave it to me. I guess it's also kind of like Mario, yeah. But it's definitely a sure you can. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The capo here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse, crying like a Trevi fountain. Those dogs! One day the world will respect us redheads! Every night he would bury his head in his pillow and wait for the justice. Yeah, bad, Peppino, enough! I will explain the rest. The first step was a newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Red-Headed League. Oui. Chad, if you have any idea how to pronounce that, let me know. I am honored that you have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement, and from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings.
and with the money to France. It was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk like a Costa's orange barrel. And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. Me, I've seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. See, and now, every time I see the couple's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry? The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph.
Very good. I'll give you a short testimony for the court. Our subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph.
Of course, we are always ready to help with the law. One second though. People. You're 25? You look way younger than that. Wait, hang on. Why does he have that red mark under his chin? It's not present on his model. Look at their clothes. Is there a joke I'm missing? Green, white, red, blue, white, red. Oh, it's the flags. That's funny. That's funny. Wait, I didn't even look here. Yikuto was 43? Huh. So is Jikoku-san. All these question marks. Yeah, it's only 25. Huh. I thought I packed him for younger. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assemble in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Aye, Kapo. No, I don't remember him. Obviously he is dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. Hello. This victim is nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. Peppino. You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oui. I am quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise.
I should note that you have been arrested for good deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances.
Ugh. With this attitude, we get to nowhere, huh? It's really a sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover. Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another, similar event at the park on the day in question, eh? That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League. Which means it's quite possible that that's when he was killed. Yes, my lord. Okay. European man. We're all Europeans here.
Hold it!
1,000 people? That's a very big crowd. It was quite a spectacle. Red-heads had come from all over the capital. see, the couple here. He has the magnetismo animale, eh? Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the couple. All those people wanted was the money, Peppino. They £4 per week.
Easy to say, you should pursue with those applicants.
Oui, that we did. Because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We take their names, and we take their money, and we take their address as well. Then I tell them we take some days to let them know by a post. And finito. Maybe. Community a person. We start early in the morning, and we stop late at the night. So, you earn 5,000 shillings in one day. That's a small fortune. Isn't this how like a pyramid scheme works? Kinda. No. That's not. This is not a pyramid scheme. What's the word for it? You borrow. There's a name for this type of scam. You borrow money from person A, and then you loan it to person B, and then you promise person A that you'll pay back with interest. You get the interest back from person B. You pass the money to person B to person A. Person B now trusts you more, so they pay you more money the next time you ask them. And then you go back and forth between these two people until you eventually hit a big enough sum, and then you scupper. There's a term for this. Let me check. It's going to play in my mind until I remember, so... Was it the Kansas City Shuffle? I think that's what it was. No, that's a different one. Ponzi, I think that's what it is. Ponzi. Yeah. So it's a Ponzi scheme. That's what it is. Yeah. Rob Peter to pay Paul. Basically. Today is Peter's, tomorrow's Paul until this grows unsustainable. Yeah. It's a Ponzi scheme, that's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, chat. That was gonna play in my mind until I remembered, so... Who would have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair.
Hold it!
He doesn't look at all familiar. No, I don't think so. And this is a way guy. He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people. Says the con artist. If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face. No, Signor. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park. But he's not going to give the court a definite, it seems. Hey, Capo. You didn't see a man like this, huh?
Hold it!
But according to what you've said, he spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Oui, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could have given us, maybe then we would recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, huh? There was a man with a red hairpiece, but his mustache did not match the color. Then I do not think I could have forgotten. Kazuma said these two had only been shown that photograph and they'd been told nothing else at all. But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example... his fish and chips. Well, you had to give him a name, right? Well, the fish and chips, maybe? I could certainly appreciate it just knowing the man with red hair wouldn't help you remember the situation. But what if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Not really. I was looking only at the ends of the apples. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips anymore than the caviar and smoked salmon. Oh, the spaghetti! Me, I love the spaghetti! Really? I had no idea. Tell them again what you said before, Peppino. Si, capo, si. I say it again and again. Okay. Number one, they're definitely colluding. They're hiding it. I never seen this. I never seen the victim who passed away. Passed away. Get it, chat? Passed away. What? It fits? Proceedies played this game. I'm pretty sure. I never even saw him or his red hairpiece. Mamma mia! I did it! I'm a guilty! A guilty! A guilty, 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 guilty! Oh! Okay. Well.
Hold it!
But we only have your word for that. See, but what else can we do, huh? True. Ugh, we are not having much fun these days. First we are arrested, then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. And now you question every single thing we say. We are the victims here. Hey, capo. No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. Huh. You had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Hey, capo.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? Cover! You promised not to say, "Hi, capo." After we had taken all the money that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to Dunkirk to my companion here. But he bought them for the wrong day. Oops. See, but it's an easy mistake to make, huh? The 1st, the 31st. Oh, I have no sympathy for you. We were an whole day late for the boat because of your stupidity. And it's only because of this that the so-called Great Red-Headed Detective caught us. Capo, you know what I think? This is the work of God. It's a holy punishment, eh? Peppino, for the last time. This is not only punishment. This is only your fault. Ah. Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You are making me sick with anger. Maybe I make a mistake, but when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a faster. And I've seen the evidence. Haven't told us much they already didn't know. It was in the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet these two both claim they didn't see him. I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies. Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounding plausible is their specialty. Maybe lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well. Sure, if they were truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught. Well, yes, you do have a point there. Seems to me like we need more information. Alright. Gotta feed them.
Hold it!
Not the fish and chips, okay. Not that statement. This
Hold
one.
it!
Well, I mean, he would have been hiding his name and profession as well, right? But look, maybe the name. I could certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair would help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man's name was Gregson? The man in the photograph is a Monsieur Gregson. Yes. Names, they are boring. I did not listen to any of them. Oh. It was not a real interview, huh? It was just for a show. Why would I remember the names? That's right. This changes nothing. The man in the photograph was not there, as we've already said. Let's see. Alright. So it's the profession? Alright. Sure, you can.
Hold it!
I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective? The man in the photograph, a detective. Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing.
Excuse me!
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi. Che? See, I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Eh? What did you just say about the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What?
Good lord.
It's simple. A man who was at the park said to us that he was There was no such man. Monday, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody likes this came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta. You beat me at many things, but not two. The memory and the muse. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is the pasta. But you are inferior to me in every other way. So shut up. We're both slamming the table now. Ugh. Trotta. The damage is done.
Yes, sir.
There was a man who came to the park and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be so sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was clean-shaven. His eyes were sadder. His chin was thinner.
No service whatsoever then.
Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof. See, the couple here. He doesn't take no nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification?
Yes, convention.
Sorry, my lord.
Oh, sir. No incognito inspector will offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question.
Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly the papers were fake. Zerto Capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh? What happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said, you were under investigation. So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastical. And look, here is the identification. So you stole it from the man? Yeah, they're coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was.
The person described as not appeared to differentiate with the true inspector was. However, I believe it will be proven what these identification papers have added to evidence.
But I like him. The identification of a man claiming to be a detective inspector, confiscated by Mr. Rose and Mr. Ross. Plot thickens. So it wasn't Gregson? Can't find any on this. Gotta open it. Well, I suppose we should see what's this inspector's identification looks like inside. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what? This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me. But how? And the department and identification number details are all correct as well. Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say... I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? Huh? So... I guess this means somebody... Whoever killed Gregson... Whoever killed Gregson stole his identity cards. And then went down to the Red-Headed League place and tried to pretend to be him. For whatever reason. I guess that would make sense. It's not Sholmes, in case you're wondering. No. Yeah, I know. I know Sholmes is. He didn't ask Sholmes to that. He just recognized Sholmes, right? He was like, "Ah, the great detective Sholmes. Are you here on a secret identification? Are you here at a secret investigation?" You know, that was a different one. He didn't demand to see the papers, so that was different. But yeah, So, I guess the idea is somebody was impersonating Gregson then. But they had his actual identification papers. So either they lifted them off him after they killed him, or he lost it prior to then, and they have it for some reason. Which is probably related in some manner. But yeah, it's either one or the other. Either he was killed for his identification, or his identification was lost prior to that, and that's somehow related, I guess. That's what I think.
This is just the way the system is.
This victim has nothing to do with us. And now we present this on here, right?
Objection!
Yeah. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade? I'm Miss Lestrade.
What is your attention here, Constable?
Is this really a fake, or is it genuine? That's the question. Which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection!
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. Hold it! That is the boss's! No question about it! It can't be! As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation. Or someone who stole his papers after potentially killing him, yeah. One or the other. Zutalo! But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on me on about it. If you listen, I'd reported it once, he'd say. Could it be, then, that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically... Hey! What are you saying? Unable to... You're not suggesting. Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had a chance to report his identification stolen. No. The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? I know a nothing. I done a nothing. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Ooh. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Go back to your pizza tower. Mon Dieu, you can behave a little more like a master criminal than Zen, no? No, I wish I had returned to Italia. Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, Lover, stop your whining and start talking.
We need to hear a story to see what we need to.
No, nothing. I done nothing. But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome.
You tell your answer just for again. You wrote these identification papers, and the precise circumstances of which you came by them.
Crying out loud. The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning we let him go. He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like a prison, really. I did not know the victim who passed away.
This is outrageous. You're a prisoner, man.
But no, it was not like a prison. He was very comfortable and calm and happy. Ay, capo. It was never part of my plan. I swear it. Ah, so you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong. By one a little a day. I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it. No. Por favor, capo. It's not fair.
Sir, here's your time scrolling back in the prison, gentlemen.
Ugh, I don't believe this. How could he have been a real detective? No, this complicates things. That guy's an imposter. He was killed. That means Gregson was killed even earlier. Are we moving the date back further and further? Wait. He doesn't look that decayed. So if we're going by this timeline correctly, then that means that he died before, like, even before the day before, right? For him to have his papers stolen and be impersonated by somebody, that would have had to be even earlier. What's the explanation? Did they just chuck the body in a freezer or something? Surely there would have been some signs of decay, though, right? It's not like freezing a body can throw the time of death off that much. Right? I don't know. So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. No, I don't. I think that's a. I think that's a misdirect. I don't think that was Gregson. I don't think that's a big contradiction. Gregson. I don't think Gregson was the one they imprisoned. I think they imprisoned his imposter, whoever he is. But now the timing of the death doesn't add up. Unless... Chad, just an idea. Gregson's a big shot investigator, right? What if he had a body double? That would have been pretty incompetent of his body double to just present the papers like that, but I think that's the only way that would make sense. If he's off doing something else and then he got killed that time during that time period, at the same time that whoever is doing his body double duty tried pulling this nonsense, that would reconcile the idea, but I don't know, that would also probably answer why the guy had his identification before, like, without him reporting it. Because if Gregson gave the stuff to him, then he wouldn't report it as stolen. I think that makes sense, yeah. He might have had a body double or something. Or like someone to cover for him while he's going deep incognito or something. Yeah, that makes sense. Or it could just be on a super wild theory, actually. I don't know.
Hold it!
Do you realize what you're saying? You have to believe me. I never intended for that to happen. And I'm sure the detective did not intend it either. Do you think? But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. This was not the first crime for the capo. He was at the end of his wits. I have told you before, Peppino, that is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind. These two are just LARPing as criminals. What about this hideout of yours? An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street. We rented the place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the couple here.
An impulsive idea, I would say.
No, not impulsive. Inspired. Aye, couple. What am I supposed to say to that, Peppino? And it was in the house described that you confirmed Inspector Gregson, was it? Confined. Wait. But you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector. It doesn't quite add up, though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there? No, you're right. But we couldn't be completely certain.
Hold it!
Too scared? Why? Because, why had he come to the park? We didn't know. There was a chance that he had seen through my plan. And if that wasn't the case, he would go straight to the police station to blow the whistle on us. Even he was just a feigning to be an inspector. He was up to no good, huh? I think most people would agree that it's you two who are up to no good. Well, see, you may be right. Aye, capo. The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place. See, I asked myself the same question. You were writing down the names and addresses of all the people who we took 5 shillings from that day. I have forgotten what name he said, but the address, it startled me. See, address, Scotland Yard Homicide Division, he said. What? Probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude. I just politely asked him why he had said it. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification. Yeah, that sounds like someone impersonating him and screwing up. I don't know if that's a body double then. Sounds like Gregson would have entrusted if he was trying to get someone else to cover for him. He would probably had someone more competent than that. I don't know. What was Inspector Gregson playing at? Tell the court what happened next. You took him back to your hideout, you see. See, we did that.
Hold it!
That being this identification book here, correct? See, that is the one.
Why would you believe that it was a forgery?
I never seen a real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this a man. Oh, I was thinking, it must be false, so. Aye, capo? Oui, it is just as Peppino has said. We were convinced he was not genuine. And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive. All we did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made preparations to transfer all the money. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Hold it!
What do you mean by a little tussle exactly? It was nothing, just a minor incident. The false inspector, he was a real piece of the work. Aye, capo? What happened? It was a disaster. We gave him a nice room, and what does he do, huh? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator. Can you blame him? We chased him, Yinsu, and we got him again. Can you blame us? Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you? What do you think we are? Of course not. I simply got hold of him again and took him back to the room.
Excuse me.
Mr. De Rossi, is something wrong? Hey, me. Something Mr. De Rosso just said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about? Caval, at times like that, you don't want to have the capo after you, believe me. And I speak from a personal experience. Personal experience? That is enough, Peppino. There is no need to say more. The truth is, the night before we put the red-headed league plan into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away. It's a shame you didn't manage it. But the capo here, he came after me like a turbine, huh? And he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it. Aye, capo. Around the neck? Oh. Ah, you wanna see, huh? You wanna see my fantastical bruises? Gossip? Who are you exactly, huh, Gossip? Why do you have Inspector Gregson's papers? You know, chat, there's a Holmes story called The Man with the Twisted Lip. The story was, about like the client was like, there's a strange man with a twisted lip stalking me or something. And he was like, well, and then they investigated. It turns out that was actually just her husband. The Man with the Twisted Lip is about a story about a husband who pretends to be working at his usual job, but he got fired, so he started working as a beggar. But he didn't want his wife to know that he was working as a beggar to support her lifestyle, so he disguised himself with a twisted lip. I think we just solved the mystery of what happened to this man. He's a hiding in secret. Huh. Well, thank you, Holmes' canon knowledge. I think I figured that one out. Okay, but why does he have Gregson's papers? Why does he have Gregson's papers? That's weird. What's the link there? You know, in hindsight, I should have picked up on the twisted lip since the start. In hindsight. Well. I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but alright. We connected a few too many dots here. That's enough now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you. I wanted to do. I assure you or I don't. I assure you or I don't. You do. Now. Ah, if everybody wants to see, then I do it. Ecco, you see? It's still very visible, eh? That red ring around your neck? You got that when you were dragged back to the house? See, the capo, so that he's very rough. I says that's enough. Peppino's neck has nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word.
Yes. Where's your precursor?
About this red ring around Mr. De Rossi's neck, I wonder, does it matter? It's important! Mr. De Rossi, I'm going to have to ask you. To amend your testimony of details about that mark on your neck. Aye, capo. You see, everyone is interested in what I say, huh?
You're very serious questions, Rossi.
See, if you really want them to know. He tried to escape, but the couple put a collar on him and dragged him back, like what he did to me, see? A collar? Put a collar on him. There's no collar on Gregson, I don't think that matters. I think we press the statement and then we can bring it up. Are you saying that red mark was caused by... See, a big collar made from the leather. A leather collar. Kinky. I mean, what? Is this true, Mr. De Rosso? What? We had this knot at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from that time, with a very strong chain. A strong chain? And you put that around your friend's neck? I'm sorry. I was so angry that he was leaving me alone. You did not have to tie the chain to the leg of the bed, no, huh? I would not have tried to run again. You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you? Treat the people with a kiko, It's the capo's motto, eh? It's starting to sound a lot more like a prisoner all of a sudden. The capo is a tough, but the capo is rough. I shouldn't have done it. So, the following morning when you released the inspector, he had a red ring around his neck, just like me. Peppino, s'il vous plaît, leave it now. Now you know, huh? The couple here. You don't want to tangle with him, eh? But for the inspector, it's not so bad.
Hold it!
You took away the man's freedom. However comfortable you make it sound, you were still holding him prisoner. If you say that, then I say this. There is something that takes away our freedom too. The lack of money. So we are the prisoners as well, huh? All of us. Huh? No money, no freedom. This is the truth. It makes me mad, and it makes me sad. What can we do? Well... If you so disenfranchised, take money to court. Though it'll cost you, of course. There you have it. You see, that is why we need the red-headed lead. The fight for the justice. Perhaps he has a point. No, Mr. Naruhodo. All we did that was to give the man a comfortable place to sleep for the night. And you say it was a prison, huh? Huh? Perhaps he has a point again. No again, Mr. Naruhodo. You should have heard him snoring. Madda, if anyone was disturbed, it was us. Much to go on, really. So confined but not restrained as a widow's design flying, he would still have been able to wind his watch. Okay. It's very true, yes. So did Inspector Gregson actually die when he was being held captive by these red hits? Well, no. If the idea is that he was finding hard to believe. Yeah, they point out the contradiction, so yeah. I mean, we've already figured it out. It was daily visual that they got. So Gregson might have been dead long before then. Not sure how long exactly, but long before then. What do we present here, though? You present people? No, you cannot present people. You can only present evidence. I think presenting profiles was only in Ace Attorney 2 entry, I think. There was never a thing in any other game. Well, the Gregson photo doesn't have a... Well, it's hard to see. But that doesn't have a red ring on it, yeah. Which I guess is the contradiction?
Objection!
It is. Okay. So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was not like that. It was hardly a prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was only. However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains. I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck. But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning. And I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. De Rossi.
Indeed, it's just peculiar.
And what do we tell you, huh? We say this from the beginning, many times. Peppino is right. The man in the photograph, he is someone different to the man we held captive that night. It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all.
Objection!
If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself. And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day. Which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely.
The inconsistency of the defense is most troubling. If we were to real Inspector Gregson, it is so red-headed gentleman culture. The fact that no bruising can be seen around his very explanation.
But equally, he actually encountered an imposter. How did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification?
There's an evasive and plausible explanation, culture.
The whole thing defies explanation. It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruhodo. Because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie. No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment It's revealed by information in the court record, I believe.
Good gracious.
Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. So, why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. De Rosso and Mr. De Rossi? It was a sus among us! Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
Objection!
On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification? See, that's right. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the couple dragged him from a pillar to a post to the dog collar. Mon Dieu, Peppino, I was not so harsh as you say, huh? So who was that false inspector, eh? Who was he? Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night.
This is a good professor, every process. Who did the witnesses encounter in the park? Who's against Inspector Gregson?
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da!
Take that!
Goodness me, isn't it?
One of the witnesses who was in the stand is in this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passers-by.
Objection!
What on earth would the street seller be doing for police inspectors' identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not? What has happened to his lip? See, this man is not for the red-headed league, eh? He's looking for the twisted lip league, no? Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising. Eh? What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand.
Really? Bring the information back to the courtroom. Immediately.
Interesting. So yeah, this is the part. This is the part where, like, you know, we've made the leap to, okay, Gossip was the one who was impersonating him, but now we have to prove that Gossip is Daily. I only know that, or at least pretty sure I know that because of my prior knowledge of Holmes' canon, and it seems likely.
Different. I was ring of bruising and G. Identical. Today the witness's item.
Then what's going on here, eh? I've always had this, me. It's a birthmark, isn't it? A birthmark, you say? I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you. Son about an inspector again. But I'm telling you, you got it all wrong as usual. You're denying all knowledge of it. Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh? Well, at least you'll have more stories to paddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. De Rosso and Mr. De Rossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you? Do we have any choice? We are in big trouble, eh, couple? Is that the crazy boatman from Wayne 1-5 disguise and all? Yeah, but also straight out of the Holmes canon, the man with the twisted lip. Man, I really should have cottoned on to that earlier. Cause yeah, the twisted lip was also a prosthetic in the home story. So wow, this case ties together so many Holmes references. Hound of the Baskervilles mentioned at the start. Red-Headed League, of course. Man Man with the twisted lip. Yeah, I don't think it's the face in the window case anymore, I guess. That's probably not that related. It was probably the man with the twisted lip. I was thinking of the wrong home story that this was related to. Yeah, and then his last bow because we're dealing with like potential state secrets. The man who claimed to be an inspector, said he, was definitely not this man. It's right, see. You think we would have forgotten those grand lips, huh? I never leave Fresno Street, alright? No interest in any red-headed me. I'm all alone in the world, me. I'm no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Doesn't look like I carry up a disguise of a face like this.
We have the wrong man.
What have I been telling you, huh? There's no need for this pointless testimony. Ugh. That's right, I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by? A police inspector's identification book, eh? Well, yes. That's hard to explain, but...
The brief conversation, also very brief.
Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something? I stand steadfastly as your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo. Kazuma probably thinks so too. Alright, you want a brief one? I'll keep it brief. I'ma zero into that one statement of yours about not having family. I'ma question you on that.
Hold it!
Are you sure? You mean you have no family? No, none at all. So I spend my days on Fresno Street peddling tidbits to passers-by. Hoping, just between us, is this, that eventually someone else of lips like mine will come along. I don't think so. You may be right. Anyway, that mark on your neck is just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore. Well, what's a fella to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick me lip. It looks like I'm not going to get anywhere here, unless I can produce some proof. You're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, are you? Well, it's beyond me how you think I could do that. Okay, I don't think I can just present this right away. We probably have to like present this photo to the others.
Hold it!
Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either. That is what I am saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat. How did Fabian call it? An eclair. You know, I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either. Likewise, I've never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain. See, maybe it's a national trait, huh? Maybe all the people from this man's country have the grand lips. No, lad, I was born right here on Fresno Street. I never left. That is the problem, see. So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip. Now, how many times do you want me to say it, eh?
Hold it!
So, you've heard of the Red-Headed League, had you? You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going on from town. I sold that tasty tidbit to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got Sandwich to cough up for it. Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows? Boo! That was bad. That was terrible. But as you can see, my own hair has not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sailing off to some other part of town. No sir, not like...
Excuse me!
Mr. De Rousseau. Oui? Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's word just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something. To be the headquarters of a Red-Headed League, yes. I visited an housing agent on Lime Street and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What? Mr. Gossip with a housing agent? Oui. He had some kind of contract in his hand and they were clearly discussing terms. But no, you're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresno Street, me. Like I said before. You've mistaken me for someone else. Someone with the same face. No, the couple is right. I remember it too. He was paying the man with the banknotes. With notes? Like I said, that wasn't me. I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers. And what name was written? Mr. Gossip? No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Bone, eh? It's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see? Wait, what? Huh? Well, I mean, I guess that explains... That explains the photograph. But I thought that was Gregson's... What's this doing here, then? Okay, so... Yeah, huge... Yeah, Huge Boner is a pseudonym, sure. But if it's his pseudonym, and not Gregson's pseudonym, that means that that's his little hideout place where he's pretending to go. I guess he's probably stashing money there for his wife, like, you know, so that his wife doesn't know where he is. And he has a picture of his wife there. But also this board is there, and that board is clearly Gregson's stuff. So... maybe he is Gregson's body double. Because clearly they both have things in there, so they both use the room. So they're working together. They're working together. They have to be working together. Which means that Gregson probably willingly gave him the book. He might have given him the... He might have given him the book and asked him to go investigate the Red-Headed League so that he could do off-the-record stuff. Gregson was never investigating the Red-Headed League at all. He just put it down there so that he could go off and do something else incognito. But what was he doing then? The fact that... Okay, I can think of two possibilities. Either he was investigating the Reaper conspiracy, and he didn't want the higher-ups to find out because he suspects the higher-ups are in on it. So he's doing some deep incognito stuff. Or he is a part of the conspiracy. One or the other. It's either one or the other. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. No! I'm a peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life.
Indeed. It is not the interest of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well. I shall respect your wishes, sir. The information names shall be redacted from all court records of this trial. There shall be no objections.
Objection!
I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case.
Good gracious. Do you simply object, Prosecutor Sogi?
As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings.
Oh, never. In what capacity?
Hugh Bone. The name of the leaseholder of the room. Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. I suggest, sir, that you start talking. Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case. So your real name is Hugh Bone? Yeah, it's a pseudonym. His name updates it. I think. Oh, just between us. I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So, I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a fallen down back street downtown house. Who will Willie call himself Huge Boner? Ralph Boner.
You do?
And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. Aye, I remember now. There were 2 Vogler redheads in there last time. Aye, if either of us a Vogler, it's out to me. Sink again, Peppino. Why didn't you bring this up before? It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss.
You think it's really good to most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone.
If I must. So the leasehold of Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered. Has been here under our noses all along. I rent a room with the fellows around, it's true. What difference does it make?
Hold it!
So, you live in that room presumably, do you? No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk. Then, why would you want to rent it? Well, I don't think I should have to say, really. And how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have access to. Ah, no, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. It's only the other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and the chair and that. People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there, in your room? Well, obviously, I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest. It seems to me that Mr. Mr. Boone, but rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason. He has doubts cousin crossed that way, and more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man. Ah. Now we can present this. Mr. Vigil!
Objection!
If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is that among the spouse furnishings, we found this photograph in the room. I presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well... Mr. Boone, drop the pretense, and tell the court exactly who you really are. I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler, I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone. Don't reveal my shameful secret to my wife. As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
How can you be so sure? Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection!
Not that the features themselves are a disguise. But what if you were to look at it the other way around? Also, I just realized why it would make sense for him to work with Gregson. He was chief warder at Barclay Prison, right? And he was involved in the Reaper case. Was Gregson also involved in the Reaper case? I forget. He was active around that time, right? I forgot the exact details. Yeah, he was active around that time. So, did they work together on the Reaper case? Did Gregson, like, take him in, basically, and pay him? Or, like, just keep an eye on him? Out of pity or something? Gregson was acting in Professor case. Then that's the link. There it is, yeah. I bet he probably took pity on him. What do you mean?
Yes, Cursor, what do you mean?
Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boon's lip is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself part of an elaborate disguise. And hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone?
Witches, they should have you for this court.
If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be... Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court. No, please, no. My wife! My wife will find out I've been begging! I'll lose our standing in society! No!
Cursor, the true identity of this man is considered David gossip on the street.
It is... Baroque Van Zeeks! Oh, you know they say Sherlock Holmes is a master of disguise, right? It's actually Gregson all along. He's not dead. Gregson's not dead. He's standing right in front of us.
Take that!
Oops, I presented Gossip again. Gossip. The person behind Gossip is Gossip. Without question, my lord. I mean, I'm not wrong. Would it ever not be the case? There's none of those guys at all. Oh, wow. There was unique dialogue for it. I went to that one, didn't I? I'm afraid so. I really can't sympathize. Sorry. But you know what? It was worth it. There was unique dialogue for it. Specifically. Gossip is actually Gossip. Alright.
Take that!
Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil? Yag!
Cursor. Who is this Mr. Vigil?
It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective, asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact. This is Mrs. Vigil. But what? From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. Because he was taken down to the yard. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed leakmen. Oh wait, no, that was the night before, right. And last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial. Because we've been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course. That explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the Vigil residence. Now, just hold on a minute. I don't have the first idea what I'm talking about. Really? It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise. No, please.
Big self-responsible to once more at once. You restrain the witness.
Wait, my lord. See, my lord. Funny animation. No, stop. Get off, please. Don't. My dignity. My wife's money. Help. My wife's money. Well.
I'll see your true features, I presume.
Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face.
It appears that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witnesses, tell the court, have you seen this man before?
I don't believe it, but... See! There is no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park.
Sure.
On the day of the Red-Headed League's enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson, who appeared before Mr. De Rousseau and Mr. De Rossi in the park, was you disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all. Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison.
Chief Warder. Do your career have promise? Why, you were quite possibly become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling children's on Fresno Street?
Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years? I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. Yes, it's true. I am Daily Vigil. And you were the chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago. So where did Mr. Hugh Bone come from? Bone is the other me. It's a name I invented.
Hey, there's a great deal under the surface here.
I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Barclay's chief warder came to an end. I wonder what the original Japanese name was. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Barclay Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I've never told her. Yeah, exactly like the man at the twisted lip. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Bone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. Every day meet their room on. The scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yeah, okay, so that's his real name, right? So that's Daily Vigil. What was Hugh Bone in Japanese? I wonder if it was also yeah, I wonder if it was also a crude joke. The scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's right. The place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room, but that explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons, and without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decided to conceal your occupation from them. Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison.
Very true. They have kept the family in comfort, despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment.
That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. Ah, getting to the heart of the matter now, are we? They worked together. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector, that is, recognized me one day.
You mean to say, the victim was an acquaintance of yours?
I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I've become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret What was it? It was to impersonate the inspector. Wow! Okay, so at least that theory was right. He was a body double for the inspector. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So that shifts the mystery further. What was Inspector Gregson doing? Where was he? And how did he die? We've cleaned up one mystery, but the bigger mystery still remains. What? Impersonate him? We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit RC's tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. Yeah, okay, that's an interesting detail. That means he really wanted to be known that he was elsewhere. So I think, yeah, he must have been investigating the conspiracy then. Because he really didn't want certain higher-ups to know where he was. So he probably got in too deep and he got caught up by the conspiracy. Maybe that's why he was on the Morse code list too. He was about to be bumped off because he's been putting his nose where it didn't belong. Did he dig too deep? And for those services, he compensated me financially.
The Scotland Yard Inspector William Lincoln's identification. Are you okay with intent to deceive? As I say, I need to point out, it's a very serious criminal offense.
But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? Yeah, it's a criminal offense and he's going really deep. Maybe it's not a list for a related reason? Don't tell me anymore, chat. Because that... Yeah, I am tossing up between him being part of the conspiracy or him digging too deep into the conspiracy. So if his name was on the list not because he was supposed to be bumped off, I guess that means he was part of the conspiracy? He might be then. He might be. Damn, not only no plot armor, but you can be a villain too. I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if I end up a croaker. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my boon disguise, and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense case.
Australia, sir, prosecution, Shoki.
Oh yeah, that's what you were doing, right? My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered. The hands of these two red-headed leaguemen when they imprisoned the inspector. But no, that can't be! After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day, it was me! Oh goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it. What? Ah!
Alright. Hola! It would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim. As proven, somewhat ironically, by the defense.
Ugh.
And here we go then to the cross-examination.
Hold it!
Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma.
A question, Counselor.
It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago, the execution of the professor, Genshin Asogi. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh, answer me, man.
How about we, Counselor? Is this related to the current case?
Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked.
Mr. Defense concur, Counselor.
Kazuma, you're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual. But Kazuma-sama, no wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Asogi's last moments, his own father. I know, I do understand that, but even so... Prosecutor Asogi, do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Very well. Then the defense has no objection.
I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness.
The truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten! I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? Well, 10 years ago, 10 years is a long time, but to have forgotten the reason why he's left such an important job. Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection. Sorry? The human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. The seal is broken, the memories resurface, and when they do, the fragile spirit may finally be crushed. Yeah, time to break these cyclocks! But I really don't... Kazuma-sama. But if it must be crushed, then so be it! Because the truth will not stay buried, it's coming out, one way or another! This is literally Cyclops. Right, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claims earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. Or should I? Should I present the evidence or not? Do it! I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Well, yes. In other words, You claim to have left the post of Chief Warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No. No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice? And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? What? It's mine? So you didn't resign from the prison service at all? For some reason, you were dismissed as Chief Warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it? If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17 June 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. The 17th of June. Was that the professor's execution? Professor. As you were the Chief Warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life. In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness. However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on 17 June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vigil? You know what this animation looks like, chat? You know Ghost Trick? The Minister of Law when he's at his desk. This is the exact same animation he does. You know, I mean, I'm probably reading too much into it, but it really does look the same. Maybe it's because of the hair. Yes. The whole prison. It was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed. In the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What?
Order! Do you wish to say, Mr. Vigil? The members have returned.
My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams. Oh, my goodness. The papers. There were reports, articles, about a man who's seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch Draper.
Surely those reports were exaggerated.
There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? In Logate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there.
The national conspiracy and primitive from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering.
I've reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigative team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved.
Are you suggesting that the prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom?
Yes. Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape.
You did what?
I remember now. The horror of it all was coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower.
I'm sorry, Daly. This is a serious business, but I cannot help you now. As chief warder, you were responsible for overseeing the execution of four, eh? Well, you see, the fellas at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. You better pack your things, laddie. You're to attend in person.
As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, the professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Ah!
Really, fetch a doctor at once!
He jumped out the window. I don't think he jumped out the window. I think that was symbolic. I don't think he actually jumped out the window. I think that was symbolic.
Where's the detonary immediate effect?
I'm pretty sure he would have been. I'm pretty sure he would have died.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Cosima, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
To be continued. Oh, he actually jumped out. Oh, okay, I see. Well, investigation part 2's next. Looks like that's not the end. He actually did jump out the window. Huh. Alright, interesting. I read that as symbolic, like, you know, the glass shattering. But okay. Maybe they talk about it later. Like, why he doesn't remember. Wow. Wow. Where is this case going? Holy shit. Well, I think I have some ideas. Like I said, end of the day, I think my conclusion is either Gregson was investigating too deep or he is a part of the conspiracy. One or the other. So what could have happened? We'll find out soon enough, I suppose. Alright, chat, that's gonna be all for today. Thank you for watching. Catch you guys around soon.